Hello everyone, Christina here for another weekly card pull party, an energy update. I'm feeling a little bit under the weather. Um, Obviously we've had a bunch of storms and hurricanes last week, and if I recall correctly, I think my migraine didn't dissipate until the storm arrived on the East Coast. So sometimes when we have these physical ailments, that could be representing of like one physical things going on. And I think that's going to be a theme for this week, that what happens on the inside will, or what was happening on the inside is going to now shift to things that manifest on the outside. Hey Kimberly, how are you? Welcome. I wrote down some notes. I don't have a huge amount of of an energy update because it's kind of like to me it feels like a little bit of a build-up, stagnant, and then essentially this time frame is all about putting into action all the work that you did internally over the summer. So you're putting into physical action all the work that you did over the summer. Hi Hope, welcome. And so it could be a combination of metaphysical into physical form, knowingness, internal knowingness, intuition into like, instead of being, you're doing, the feminine into shifting into masculine. We all have feminine and masculine energy. And essentially, I'm equating it to, if you didn't do the prep work over the summer, it might feel like a bit of chaos and cleanup for you. The way I equate it to is like when you're in, like, remember when you're in school and you had a book report that was due, and you thought you'd read a few chapters at a time and do kind of assimilate, comprehend the work, and then maybe write some notes and and then hello Arisa, how are you? Welcome. And so then you think you're preparing, or maybe you didn't, or you skipped out and you didn't read the book at all, and then now it's time for the book report to be due. Well, you're scrambling and trying to hurry up and do the book report, and it just feels like really crappy because like a big push at the end, and then maybe it wasn't your best work. So that's kind of like the difference, like how well did you prepare over the summer for now, like sort of like the assignments due. And if you did the internal work over the summer, then the putting everything else into action now is going to feel like a smooth transition. But if you kind of ignored your inner knowing and you didn't take care of what you needed to take care of over the summer, this shift in energy is going to feel really chaotic for you. So that said, not to worry, because there's always time to help yourself and ground yourself, and do these what I call sacred daily practices of like grounding, meditation, daily walks. Taking care of your physical health is really important right now. The other thing is, when you quote get it right, meaning like you feel like you're living in alignment with your own inner knowing. Mind you, we'll never fully get there. We're always on a journey. We're never going to be fully getting it right. But that's the beauty of things. But when you daily practice and come into your own energy, you become a stable force for others. And that's kind of some of this Saturn energy. Welcome if you're just joining. Hello, Charlotte. What I was saying is, if you become like this stable force, this very Saturn is like a huge influence, obviously, for me and for everybody because of the Saturn return until I think it's like 2020. It's asking us to put that stable structure in place. When we do that, then we invite other people to, I guess, have the space to address their own chaos. So, you know, I had people do that for me. And so then when we reach a different, you know, level of or segment of our journey, you know, further along down the trail, you know, we can be helpful to somebody who maybe hasn't made that bend in the road yet. Let me look at the notes here. I really think I took care of myself well this summer. However, I'm fighting a mega cold. Yes. Well, yes. The cold, I find too that anytime we do a lot of internal work and it goes to become a physical manifestation, we tend to get what I call kind of like up-leveling sickness. Like I had a major migraine for 5 days, and now I have like this sinus thing that doesn't want to go away. And I really look at it as like our physical body getting attuned to the new energy that's passing through us. And colds, as a general rule, are the result of feeling really pushed or chaotic, like you don't have enough time to do what you really want to do. But yeah, decluttering is really helpful for colds, because when you start putting things into place, you get rid of that chaos energy. So I felt extremely chaotic and ungrounded this morning. So I already came and did some smudging in my sacred space, and I put some selenite and blue kyanite in the four corners of my little space here to really give me like sacred space to work within, to really feel structured. And I think when we say create sacred space, that's when I call on the 4 directions, and that the practice of calling in sacred space gives me that structure that I'm looking for to really examine that chaos or that crazy energy. Some people have equated this Hurricane Florence and other hurricane energy to, you know, you could say from a very practical standpoint, it's weather patterns and all that, but it's the energy that goes into it is the collective energy, the collective consciousness, not the unconscious, but the consciousness. The unconscious is that which we're not even aware of. But right now, with a lot of this Mars, Uranus, like interaction, they're both, you know, gods of war. And, you know, well, Uranus isn't. Uranus is all about like crazy transformation. So we put the god of war with crazy transformation, and we got some potential for big destructive energy. And I understand that even though things look on the surface as hugely destructive, they are actually maybe breaking down something that wasn't right, for lack of a better term, or is no longer needed anymore, or, you know, just moving on to the next thing. And so it's the cycle of things. And so don't fear chaos, don't fear destruction, don't fear stagnant energy. It's just a part of the cycle. So I wanted to get started here. So if you want me to read a card for you, I've got my herbal tarot and the medicine cards, the animal medicine cards, and then of course the mystical shaman cards, which are becoming a new favorite of mine. And I'm actually very much looking forward to. I have a new deck that's coming out in October from, this is the Mystical Shaman Oracle deck that I've been using lately. And it's with Alberto Villoldo and Colette Baron-Reid and Marcelo Lobos. If you aren't familiar with Alberto Villoldo and Marcelo Lobos, they're the founders of the Four Winds Society. They teach, for lack of a better term, shamanic practices in the Q'ero Indian lineage of Peru. But Alberto is an indigenous medicine anthropologist, which I think it's actually kind of fascinating. But I have a new deck coming out that Colette Baron Reed created called Animal Spirit. And I think it's expanding on the medicine cards and animal medicine. And it's really important. Like, it's simpler than we think to incorporate animal and plant medicine into our lives. I decided that I did not want to take usual antibiotics for my physical ailments, right? I have a sinus infection, so usually I take antibiotics, but every time I do that, it throws the rest of my system out of balance. So I decided I'm going to really go, through plant medicine and see how that works. And so I've been adding that in as a way to use plant medicine daily and regularly. I've started really building up my plant, I guess, apothecary in my house. And so I use these plants regularly. I'm making sachets. Animal medicine is easier than you think. Yesterday I came outside and I saw a lizard crawling along the wall. And to me, I could have just walked by and not noticed that or whatever, but you notice it and you look at it and you can say, well, wow, that's a sign from, the divine. The other thing I wanted to talk about, what are these earth-based indigenous medicine, for lack of a better term, religions about? To me, they're, as Sandra Ingerman says, shamanism is a method of direct revelation, which I've been kind of really looking into combining my own, because I was raised Roman Catholic, and I still believe in Jesus and Mary, Mother Mary, and all of them. And I think that in this new age, we combine all of our faiths. And I don't think that anyone is good or bad. Traditional Christianity separated your own internal ability of direct revelation and put it more into the church. Like, only through Christ can you reach salvation. And this is just me talking from my own perspective. And yet when you look at what Jesus actually talks about, the kingdom of heaven is within you, he's talking exactly about the process of direct revelation. And so many of these ancient traditions, like Druidry or Peruvian shamanism, even the First Nation spiritual path of, the medicine wheel, they're strikingly similar. They all talk about the 4 directions or some form of the medicine wheel, and all referring to the shaman was somebody in their community who served them. The shaman didn't call themselves a shaman. The people called that person a shaman because of the service that they provided for the people. And they showed them how to come into direct revelation with their own spirit world, and to also go into the different realms. In traditional shamanism, there's like an upper world, a middle world, and an underworld. And if you want to journey into either one, I'm not real particular about the different realms, but when I journey on my own, I just go wherever spirit takes me. But what I'm getting at is this upper, middle, lower, like these are things like heaven, earth, hell. These are all like structures or paradigms or whatever. In Druidry, they have like the 3 paths. It's like, look at these patterns that are in all spiritual traditions around the world, and I don't think it's a coincidence. And so I think that we could say, I'm of Irish, English, European descent, but I'm not Celtic. I'm not Roman. I'm American in this 21st century. And what did we what did we as 21st century Americans primarily use in our culture for spirituality? Well, we go to a regular church. So it may be daunting for some people to find a way to fit in spirituality, or what I call mysticism, which is the path of direct revelation, in your daily life. And we think that we're, especially in our modern times, we are very disconnected from nature. And that's what some of these older paths are talking about. You know, Druidry is nothing but a love of nature and connecting with nature, which to me is very much like other forms of shamanism. And, you know, so what I'm driving at is it's a lot simpler to add plant and animal medicine into our daily lives than we realize. And yet we don't have to strive for perfection. We don't have to strive to be just like our ancestors, or you know, maybe we're not of native ancestry, so we don't think we can partake in that type of culture. We get to be a composite of everything. We get to, because this is what we are now. We're a melting pot, especially here in America. I'm going to look at the notes here and see. Okay, Charlotte wants a mystical shaman card. If you're just joining and you would like a card, let me know. Okay, so Charlotte would like, hey Nicole, mystical shaman. And Risa would like mystical shaman as well. Yeah, it's fast becoming probably my new favorite. I'm really loving this deck here. And my beautiful niece Tori's joined. Yay! And Hope, would you want a mystical shaman card as well? I can pull one for you. All right. And if you're hanging out, let me know what you'd like. In the meantime, I'm going to open up some sacred space here, even though I already did it earlier today. And I wanted to explain too, when you open up sacred space, and you don't necessarily have 5-10 minutes to call in all the 4 winds. My mentor Olga reminded me in one of our weekend workshops that you can call in all the directions and all the energy just by simply doing this. And again, this is a sign of a universal sign of all of the energies of the universe coming together, right? And if you just gently put, you know, don't squeeze, but you can press the tips of your 2 fingers together. That's basically like calling in everything all at once. And of course, you're in a state of prayer, right? If you feel like really quickly you need to call it in and say, Spirit, Jesus, Archangel Michael, I need your protection. Or I'm feeling really stressed right now, just call it in. And you may try to play with some of that energy too. We did this exercise where we played with like the spirit or the energy ball in between our hands. And when you do it, you're just like amazed at like, wow, it really feels like a palpable presence. And so the reminder is, if you do not have time to open up sacred space, calling in all the 4 directions, you know, 5-10 minutes properly, for lack of a better term, you can just bring it together and say your prayers. Like, it's just sort of understood. Like, it's a shortcut. But for now, let's open up sacred space. So, to the winds of the east, we call you in. Welcome. Thank you for coming in and being the place of the rising sun, fire energy. This is the place of spirit of eagle, spirit of condor, spirit of raven, the place of the void, all the winged ones. We thank you, thank you, thank you for showing us the springtime of our life, for showing us the bird's eye view. We thank you for bringing in the place of which we come from and the place to which we will all return. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Into the winds of the south. This is earth energy, spirit of snake, spirit of the four-legged creatures, all earth creatures actually, wolf, mouse. We call you in. We thank you for being the summertime of our life. We thank you, Brother Snake, for showing us how to shed old skin and walk humbly close with Mother Earth, as all other earth creatures do. We thank you for being summertime energy, the time of our youth, the time of coming into our own. We thank you, thank you, thank you. Winds of the west, we invite you in. This is water energy, spirit of jaguar, who swims in all the estuaries of the Amazon River, and the mighty whale, even the mystical mermaid. We thank you for all of our emotions and internal knowing. This is the fall of our lifetime, where we harvest the knowledge of all of our rites of passage. The place of the setting sun, the place of releasing. We thank you, Spirit of Jaguar, for showing us how to walk in integrity. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Now we call in the winds of the north, place of our ancestors, place of the ancient ones, spirit of hummingbird, spirit of elk, caribou, spirit of buffalo. This is the winter of our lifetime. This is where we go within and get close to returning to the void. This is where we have all of the knowledge and wisdom of our ancestors and a life well lived. We thank you, thank you, thank you for this air energy. Thank you, Spirit of Ancestors, for being with us. Thank you for showing us endurance and knowing thyself, the wisdom of knowing thyself. Thank you, thank you. And then, of course, to Mother Earth, Pachamama, Gaia, thank you for nourishing us in your womb, for being the place that sustains all life. We are in such gratitude for you. Just breathing in the air that you provide, the land that you give us, the water, the fire. Thank you for hosting all of life. The two-legged, the four-legged, the creepy crawlies, the winged ones, the finned, the furred, all of our living creatures. And to Father Sky, the great creator, we thank you for creating all that is and for providing mysteries of the universe that we can't even begin to fathom. We thank you for your abundance. We thank you for your benevolence. Thank you, thank you, thank you for the life that you've given us. And to our star nations, brothers and sisters that watch over us, thank you for going ahead of us and showing us the way and checking on us from time to time. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And now is the time to call in any spirits that you'd like. Spirit of Wolf, always with me. Archangel Michael, protect us. Only that which is of the light shall be here. We thank you, thank you, thank you. I'd like to invite in Mother Mary and Mary Magdalene and Isis, the feminine goddesses. Thank you for your energy. Thank you. All right. And now is the time for you to invite in anybody, any spirit that is an ally to you. And while we're doing that, I'm going to shuffle the deck 3 times. So I've got 3 cards, one for Charlotte, one for Risa, and one for Hope. And anybody else, let me know. If you're just coming on, welcome. time. How's everybody feeling this week? Are you feeling this intense energy? Sip of my coffee here. All right, here's a card for Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and then the overall energy of the week. All right. This is a good one. The Fool. And the herb is ginseng. Ginseng is a very, what we call carminative herb. It brings up the warmth. The Fool might seem like a negative card, but it's actually not. Ignorance is bliss, maybe. Welcome if you're just coming on. Let me know if you want a card. So it's interesting that the Fool is a major arcana card, and also it is the very first one, which means that ignorance is bliss. You're still learning. It's kind of like you're a baby. So at the same time, it encompasses all the innocence behind that. So the Fool is our most inner self, who is limitless, boundless, and adventurous and immortal. He is guided by his heart's path, symbolized by the rose. Mother Mary and Mary Magdalene, the rose symbolizes them. How perfect. We called them in, yes. And by the divine golden light, which he perceives as divine grace pouring down to him. Because of his innocent trust in the divine, the Fool steps forward fearlessly. Now I want to tell you a little secret. When I was setting this card down, I had to glimpse underneath. For some reason, I wanted to make sure it wasn't this way. And a thought crossed my mind that I'm not trusting spirit. And so, just being transparent here. And so, it's perfect that that was this card telling us to fearlessly, obliviously trust spirit. But anyway, because of his innocent trust in the divine, the Fool steps forward fearlessly, oblivious of the impending cliff which will tumble him down through the world of experiences and adventures. So yeah, there is this sense this week of, okay, things that were maybe in the metaphysical plane, things that we talked about in spirit or airy-fairy, they're going to come out in some way in the physical world. So, in his knapsack, the Fool carries those traits and characteristics inherited from his ancestry, previous lives, and cosmic memory. He will use these gifts and powers as needed during his sojourn as an incarnated spirit. So really, there's a theme around the lessons that you've learned, all the wisdom you've gathered. He's going to get put to use in your daily life, okay? Uranus, an erratic, revolutionary, and eccentric planet, which is actually square to Mars right now, and it's in Taurus, which is a Earth sign. So it's basically saying all our airy-fairy stuff is coming down to Earth, coming into the physical plane. Anyway, so Uranus, an eccentric, revolutionary, and erratic planet, is the ruler of the Fool. So thus he may appear to be crazy and outlandish or creative and original. Lots of transmutation going on, lots of big changes that people are going to go, what the heck? But at the end, you'll see that it was preordained or was something that was highly needed to come to pass. So he is free of self-imposed restrictions and is open to change and inspiration. The Fool being key 0, meaning the first card in the major arcana, or the tarot, period, is above all of the other 21 major keys, and thus he has freedom of movement. I think when you let go of your, I guess, strictures about things, you have this ability to make decisions and choices that maybe in the past you were self-limiting. he can appear in our lives when we least expect him. And of course, when you're making these decisions, people might think you're being a fool, okay? But you're doing what you need to do for your own highest good, okay? He can appear in our lives when we least expect him. He encourages us to be more detached in the roles that we play and reminds us of our true beingness as children of the Great Spirit. And I like how they're talking about detachment. We can have a lot of social and cultural strictures that actually have no bearing on your spiritual growth. In fact, cultural and social strictures can, in fact, impede your spiritual growth at times because you're feeling like, oh, that's bad, I shouldn't do that, it's immoral, whatever story you have. If your spirit's calling you to something, it has to do with your truth. And it doesn't necessarily mean that the people around you, society will understand, whatever. But if you blindly follow these urges, you know, you may find that the reality is people may negatively respond to you living your truth. So that's further down the line for the fool. But the fool is telling you blindly follow what your spirit's telling you to follow. Okay? He encourages us to be more detached in the roles that we play and reminds us of our true beingness as children of the Great Spirit. He's a visual representative of the Tao, or the void, which is nothing and everything. He is our true self, joyously playing the script but never losing contact with the power of life. Another thing, I don't know why I'm feeling called to like kind of talk about Christianity a little bit, maybe because the latest is like the Catholic Church has been having all of those investigations getting opened up. You're seeing more and more people, writers, documentaries on, was this truly the gospel? Was it? People are questioning these foundations of what we knew in the past. And it doesn't mean that what we knew in the past was wrong in any way, or what we're moving towards is wrong in any way. This is what we're talking about, right, wrong. Don't think like that. Think, just go with the flow, kind of understand that maybe the old ways of thinking aren't working anymore, and it's time to look through a new lens. So that said, ginseng is, in the plant world, it provides pure motivation and creative energy within each person. A lot of people who take ginseng do it for like energy. The root most resembles an upright human figure and is symbolic of the inner potential each being has. So basically pure potential. This is about your spiritual journey, your potential as a human being, and what kind of soul journey do you want to be on? Are you going to take that route? Hello, Chris. Welcome. I see some of these notes don't pop up until after the fact. It doesn't scroll for me. Yeah, see, Risa. And so I wanted to say too, like, it's kind of important to me, being raised Catholic. At one time, the Catholic Church was a huge source of comfort for me. And so I still very much believe in many Christian things. Christ consciousness is all about compassion for others. And so the fool is sort of saying, you may need to embark on like a spiritual journey and incorporate everything. And kind of the energy of this week is like, just because you came from a certain background or a certain way of thinking doesn't mean that you don't get to form a new way for you, if that makes sense. And do it with the eyes of a fool, of a brand new, open way of thinking. And don't worry about social mores or strictures or oh my gosh, am I going to hell? You know, there's kind of, this is sort of like the old way of thinking. So as far as the fool is concerned, the energy is I feel the boundless divine energy flowing through me. I enthusiastically walk my path in life. And so if you're feeling some of the chaos, if you weren't really sure what that path was, it's okay. Practice some daily grounding. Practice opening up some sacred space. Call on your saints and ascended masters and Jesus and Mary, whoever it is that you call for comfort. Have them help you if you don't have that structure in place yet, to ground yourself, to kind of come comfort yourself when you're feeling chaotic, because there's a lot of chaotic energy this week. One thing I wanted to add too, it's not happened yet, but Venus is in Scorpio and it's going to go retrograde, I believe October 5th. And if you're feeling like a lot of intensity and personal relationships, that's going to be part of it as well. So bear in mind, the Fool is inviting you to look at all of this chaos with a fresh new outlook, okay? So maybe don't operate the way you would have done. If you always do what you've always done, you're always going to get what you always got. This is a time to react calmly instead of frustrated, react peacefully instead of angry, or the opposite. Act assertively, whereas you were passive. Do the new you, opposite you almost. So that's it for the energy for Monday, Tuesday, the beginning of the week. The next one, got some earth energy going on. This is for Wednesday, Thursday. Page of Pentacles. By the way, it's raining like crazy here. I don't know if you can hear the rain on my roof. Okay, this Page of Pentacles is looking for new knowledge and skills. What did we just say? It's a new way to live your life, right? Start looking for ways to react calmer. Start looking for ways to be more assertive. So she's ready to learn how to use the tools on hand so that she can plant the seeds for future growth. How are you behaving and acting, and choices you're making going to bring you the life or lifestyle or relationships that you want? She wants to understand the earth within her as well as the earth upon which she lives. Again, there's that internal into external, metaphysical into physical life, where you don't want to just talk abstract anymore. You want things to be manifesting in the physical world. There's going to be a lot of that energy this week. Things you talked about for a while finally coming together. How it comes together depends on the kind of energy you set forth a couple weeks ago, a couple months ago. She listens and takes into herself the messages and visions the earth may reveal. Willingly, she takes the risks that may be necessary as she embarks on her present opportunity. The child within is asking to come out in order to experience the excitement and curiosity of this new possibility. Again, look through new eyes. Look through the eyes of childhood. We're talking about the Fool, and now we're talking childlike wonder. It's time for manifesting the new. And maybe once you've applied a new way of being, you'll see the world around you reacting in a new way. So the Page must not be shallow in her endeavors or reckless in learning her new skills. She must strive to work hard and in an orderly way so that she creates a good foundation for the future harvest. Again, what kind of thing are you trying to harvest? What kind of seeds are you wanting to sow? And of course, it being the fall, and it's raining, it's lots of water energy, it's this harvesting feeling right now and also releasing. She needs to have faith to go forward and not hold herself back because of fear that she is not capable enough for the job. In other words, there's also the shift from Aries, Chiron moving into Aries instead of being in Pisces way back in April. And this will be with us for the next 8 years. This is going to be the wound of the identity. This is the ability to change the way we think. Aries is the beginning of the zodiac. Aries is that like bring it energy and childlike wonder, the Fool, brand new, you know, almost naive, but like fresh energy. So lots of that. Blue flag is the herb for this card, and blue flag purifies the blood, is a diuretic. A big fancy word, a cholagogue, which promotes the flow of bile, and laxative. This is gonna break up some stagnant energy, okay? The root is used for all chronic and acute liver disorders. What does the liver do? The liver is the seat of anger in the body. It stores toxins and purifies toxins from your body. The key words are listening to the messages from within about your creativity and skills. Messages from the Great Earth Mother, opportunity to learn a new skill. An ability to reconsider who you are and what you're capable of, basically. Affirmation, I'm open to the new skills and creative endeavors that are being revealed to me. So maybe some really good job opportunities coming up. Hi, if you're just coming on, let me know. Okay, so Risa says, I just talked to my therapist about how comforting church is, and I've noticed that I'm obsessed with being a good person, whatever that means. I've been trying to get rid of the idea of hell and being a bad person. Yeah, I think for a lot of us who were raised Christian and identify as Christian, it's hard to let go of some of that good old Catholic guilt. And then, you know, at the same time, marry the notion of New Age thinking with old Christian thoughts and be okay with it. Let it all assimilate. You don't have to be a pagan or a Christian. You don't have to be an agnostic and an agnostic. You know, you can be all these things and let it be. There is space for all. Okay, so then Kim says she'll get a card. Kim and Nicole, yes. So Kim, do you want an oracle card or herbal tarot or the medicine card? And Nicole as well. If not, I will pull an oracle card for you. I don't have this herb, Chris. I think, are you referring to the blue flag? But I do have some of its allies, which are milk thistle and dandelion. And I've been drinking dandelion tea regularly as some of my regimen for some health issues. And milk thistle, you can take in pill form as a supplement, is really good for detoxing your liver. If you have a lot of hormone issues, your liver is probably sluggish because your liver is the thing that purifies and regulates hormones. That's why sometimes drinking alcohol can really disrupt your hormones. And I'm not just talking like female hormones, I'm talking insulin, I'm talking all these other things. And so get to the root of it. You know, if you're having all kinds of hormone issues or blood sugar imbalances, all these other things, rev up the thing that supports you to be able to be more resilient, which is your liver, right? And your pancreas, and milk thistle will do that. Blue flag can do that. It helps you just get things moving, be more limber, I guess, more resilient. Okay, so let's go to Friday, Saturday, Sunday. 10 of Wands. So we're doing good. We've had, hi, welcome if you're just joining. 10 of Wands is going to be some fire energy here. We've got a major arcana, we've got earth energy, we've got some fire energy going on. Prickly ash bark is the herb for the Ten of Wands, okay? The full bundle of Ten of Wands are carried as a burden on the back of the Voyager. The senses of being overwhelmed, oppressed, and weighed down by various cares and concerns. This may be, okay, what I was referring to. You jump in feet first like the fool at the beginning of the week with this, like, I'm, idealistic. These are my beliefs and I'm going to do me this week. And then slowly meld into, I think I'm capable of it. I think I can, through Wednesday, Thursday. And then Friday, maybe some reality hits you in the face. You have a failure. You tried it, it didn't work. Do you get up again and do it again? Or people around you aren't supportive. It's that kind of energy. So, while there's less opportunity for distractions and diversions, there's an obvious opportunity for organizing and gaining clearer focus and vision. This is a good time to maybe go within to determine what support systems you're putting in place to make sure you're being true to yourself and not let other people distract you with their energy or with like happenings, like, things like examples of chaos, cars breaking down and you can't get to the class you wanted to go to, things like that. Don't internalize it and think, oh, well, this is not for me. I'm not supposed to do this. This is a sign from God. I'm not supposed to do it. No, it's testing you. How much do you want it? How much are you capable of? How much are you able to work through the chaos and keep focused? So take the opportunity to become organized in all aspects of your being. Clarify your goals. Make sure you allow others to take on their responsibilities as well. I wrote something down about the energy update, and I think that sentence of make sure you allow others to take on their responsibilities as well. Okay. When you get it right and become a stable force, it creates structure, space for others to heal their own chaos. Sometimes this means walking away. Give people space to come to meet you where you're at. Let them do the work. Don't overwork yourself. There's no need for you to take on other people's loads, okay? Helping and giving includes you. Help and give to yourself. And I know this is really hard, especially if we're feeling like angsty, like I should help others. I should do this. I should do this. Are you in your highest, most highest self, truly helping this other person's highest self if you're over functioning for them? Are you truly helping and honoring your highest self if you're feeling resentful helping them? Or you're feeling in your ego like you get to lord over them because you're doing better than them or you're in a better spot than them. It's like this real honesty is being called here. So a lot can be accomplished when this energy is handled properly. Ask yourself, like, who am I allowing into my circle? When you start creating this sacred space, you're much more discerning about who you allow into your inner circle. And when you come out of it to go help and serve others, are you really truly needed in this instance? Do I need to insert myself in this situation? Does this person just want me there so that I can do the work for them? If you're a very capable person, people are attracted to that. And you have to put up good boundaries. You have to put up good boundaries and say, I'm focusing on me right now. And sometimes it doesn't involve talking. It means just saying, no, I can't do it this weekend, or something to that effect. And then respecting another person when they say, no, I can't do it this weekend, or essentially knowing where you end and they begin. Okay. So this week's going to be jumping into the new, realizing maybe I can do and act a different way, and then maybe coming up to some opposition, and then determining what kind of boundaries I want to have for myself, and then what do I want to take on? What's mine is mine, what's yours is yours, right? So let's look at the energy for the overall the week. Queen of Cups. Okay, I can tell you right now, Queen of Cups is all about queen energy. Queen energy sometimes can feel very lonely, and other times very regal, very self-possessed, okay? And that's probably where you need to be this week when you're jumping into the new you. Understand that you're working on your little empire and it may feel lonely, but sometimes you need to do it alone. And historically speaking, queens have been more powerful without a king. Think of Queen Elizabeth. I'm just saying. So being alone may not be bad. So Queen of Cups. But Cups is great energy because it's water energy. I always think of overflowing cup. All right. Lady's Mantle is the herb. By the way, the one for Friday, Saturday, Sunday was prickly ash bark. Okay. The queen sits on a rock surrounded by the sea of emotions and yet is close to the shore of earth, representing a centering and grounding of the emotions. To further strengthen this symbolism, she is situated behind Lady's Mantle, an herb whose main function is to coalesce the water, emotions, and earth, manifestation, elements within. I think this is also symbolic of the internal process and the external process. Like I keep saying, the metaphysical to the physical. So the Queen of Cups represents a woman in full command of her power of visions and dreams. She knows what she has to offer, what you're capable of, and what she's capable of receiving, which means if the people in her life are not giving her what she deserves, or she knows she deserves more, she will maybe be alone. She's not lost in hopeless romantic delusions, but like the moon, she's able to reflect to others what they most need to see in themselves. Again, if you are that stable force, you got your own shit together, basically, you invite other people and give them that stable structure to get their shit together. So she loves the ocean or large bodies of water and is inspired and healed by their proximity. You might need some water therapy this week. Take a nice bath if you can't get near an ocean. Our queen definitely chooses not to indulge in feelings of loss or deprivation in affairs of the heart. Again, there's that Venus and Scorpio. Venus is, the goddess of love. Scorpio is all about, dark passion, death. Death in a very metaphysical sense, like, death of innocence, and now we're coming into our own. So there may be some really intense, passionate conversations this week or interactions with people. But you should watch the queen should watch that she does not indulge in extreme mood changes, thereby deceiving herself and others as to the precise nature of her real feelings. So ground yourself when you're feeling some of this really intense feelings, like example, I want to go to school now and be an herbalist. Okay, I know I can do this. I read a lot of books. I'm now starting to make my own tinctures and da-da-da-da. Okay, well, then now people in my life are telling me they don't like the herbal teas I've been making, and maybe I shouldn't make it because it's not fitting into my life. And then now you start feeling really chaotic. And the Queen of Cups is asking you to not go off the deep end and decide that oh, maybe I shouldn't do that, I'm not good at anything, and blah, 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 blah. No. This is saying don't indulge in the extreme emotions over whatever endeavor you took on this week and may or may not have worked out, whatever meaning you gave it. Just relax. Relax, because at the heart of that would be your desire to really truly be an herbalist or whatever it was, whatever energy you have going forth, you know, or I wanted to be more calm. And, you know, at the end of the week, I got into a big argument with my boyfriend and it just proved I'm not calm. No, don't take on that identity. Okay? This herb symbolizes the power of control, especially over the emotions relating to others. So you may feel yourself going off the deep end about who you are, what you're doing, what it means. Calm down, take a deep breath, relax, restart, and then find that place of centeredness. It can therefore help overcome an excessive dependency on another because you don't need them. You don't need them. You're asking them to do what you need to do for yourself, and thus help evolve a greater sense of our true worth and our needs. Clarity and knowledge of needs and desires of the self or others. Self-acceptance. Appreciation of one's limitations and gifts. Because this week we're going to figure out what our new gifts are, right? Moodiness. This whole process is going to feel weird to you because you're not used to it. It's a new you. It'll become second nature if you let it. Don't get caught up in the strangeness of it. Empathy for another, or instead collapsing into another's problems. Definitely don't. If you feel you're pulled into other people's drama this week, I would say you're being urged tremendously to pull back and stay the queen of your own empire. I receive satisfaction and joy in sharing the cup of my beingness with another. When you're the queen of your own empire, you can share yourself. It feels safer to share yourself with others because you have a clear understanding of your own boundaries and who you are. So, when you're feeling wishy-washy, when you don't know who you are, when your sense of self is labile, for lack of a better term, you're gonna feel all over the place because you're gonna be looking for others to mirror something to you, but you don't know what it is you're trying to get from them. So that's that for this week. Crazy energy coming up for us, but we got this, okay? We got this. All right. Okay, so it looks like I'm going to be doing Mystical Shaman for everybody. And that's fine because I love these cards. And they're just so full of information. All right. Set these aside here. Already that sort of chaos energy, like I haven't been able to get organized today. Like my OCD, certain things need to be in certain places and there's too many things to take care of. When you start feeling like there's too many things to take care of, get rid of all the things. Don't worry about your ability to take care of it, just have less to take care of. That's Christina's wisdom dropped for the day. So, set these aside. And as I'm shuffling these cards, let's see, what sort of energy do we need to know about? For Charlotte, Risa, Hope, Chris, Kim, and Nicole. While I'm doing this, I want you to think about what it is you need to know. What does Spirit need for you to know, to reveal to you? And by the way, every time I shuffle these cards, they're super jumpy. I like to fling cards at me while I'm shuffling them. I don't know what that means. And they're kind of stubborn. They don't necessarily want to meld together. All right, Spirit. There you go. So I think this ability to shuffle these cards is sort of an analogy for a new skill, right? Or a new deck of cards. And it represents, something that might feel a little stiff or unnatural or unpracticed. But the more you do it, the more it's going to get smoother. And, in our law enforcement training, we always say, slow is smooth, smooth is fast. So just keep that in mind. If you're trying something new, it's not going to happen overnight. Slow is smooth, smooth is fast. So keep that in mind. Another little wisdom drop for me. Okay, so Charlotte, this one's for you. Risa. Hope. Chris. Kim. And Nicole. Great. Hello, Stephanie. Welcome. Let me know if you want a card. How about I'm going to pull one for you since you just popped on, okay? And then one for Stephanie. There we go. Got it. A little sip of water here. By the way, if you do smudging, I smudged my little area. This is my little smudge bowl. Okay, and here, I'm going to tell y'all, I have white sage for, of course, purification, and angelica root, which is to call your angels and protection, and some lavender to kind of calm me down and get me grounded. These, you can create your own little smudges, and I didn't burn all of it. I wanted to save some for when I was doing your reading. But if you don't burn all of it, don't try to light it up again and burn it again, because you're basically keeping the old energy and relighting it, reigniting that old energy. So because this is from the same day, I'm keeping this in here. And then anytime you have a smudge like this, don't ever throw it in the trash. That's considered just, terribly disrespectful. Go bury it in the yard. Give it back to Mother Earth, okay? So, a little bit of smudge here for you guys. Mostly white sage, but I can smell the lavender now because it's underneath. And also, if you have one of these little abalone shells, I have found putting a little bit of dirt in there helps keep your shell nice and not charred looking. Just think like of a fireplace. So so we're purifying this. It's adding in some lavender. We're adding in some angelica root, calling on our angels. So this card's for Charlotte. Coyote, I can tell you right now, you got some tricky stuff happening. You're going to have some like snafus this week, and you're going to be like, what the heck? You know, here I go trying to start out new, start this new thing, and every little thing is going to interfere, and I'm going to get upset. But trust me, it's all for your highest good. Okay. Coyote is a symbol of a sacred trickster, the one who provides detours for growth and understanding by ensuring that things don't go as planned. There is a plan for things not going as planned for you. The coyote brings the energy of divine deception to set you free from the shackles of that which doesn't serve you. So that said, you know that maybe you're going to have some snafus this week. When they happen, recognize them as, oh, okay, you know what? This is part of my spiritual growth. Okay, consider it a sign from the divine. Like, here's my opportunity to, you know, see this as, you know, all right, a detour, it's a good thing. It's not, you know, a sign that something's wrong. Sometimes it appears that you will get everything you want, only to find that Coyote brings you the opposite of what you hope for. So in other words, I really wanted that new job, but the reality is I wanted more free time and more money, but with this new job, I may have more money, but I don't have more free time. So it's those sort of things. So Coyote's asking you to really kind of get clear on what it is you want. The lessons offered by Coyote may appear at first confusing, but they are most sacred and always for your highest good. So in the end, you'll figure out, I wanted more free time. And then you'll start structuring your life around being able to have free time. You don't wait and say, well, my life isn't allowing me to have free time. No, I want free time. So my life allows me to have free time by the way that I've structured it. Just an example here. So if Coyote calls to you, this is a time to pay special attention to detours and disappointment, as they are true tests of faith. You have set your intentions and turned them over to the Great Spirit. Yet you may find yourself lost and confused when it appears you're being led off course, off the path leading to your most cherished dreams and desires. Remember this, Coyote is a sacred trickster and may be leading you into challenges to ensure that you're ready to handle what you've set in motion. You know, maybe you're asking to be of service and become a healer, and are you prepared to really do that? What does that mean to hold space for somebody else? It could mean that you got to get better at rejuvenating yourself. You got to get better at holding space for yourself. You've got to get better at saying yes or no to things. The Coyote's helping you because you're going to learn, like, okay, well, I had this huge detour and I agreed to help somebody, and in the end it was really draining to me, and I could view it as maybe I don't really want to be a healer or whatever, but instead it's just taught you, if I'm going to do this, I want to learn how to preserve my own energy and have better boundaries. So this is how Coyote works. Great growth and understanding come to you when Coyote calls your name. Because once you get really good at creating those boundaries, you can feel safer to open up and interact with more people, if that makes sense. Okay, that was for Charlotte. This one's for Risa. Ooh, eagle. A lot of animal energy here. Eagle. Let's see. Of course, anytime I see eagle, I immediately think, take the bird's eye view. Pull back and be in a state of observation. This has helped me tremendously this week, in like the last few weeks, actually. Even when I'm talking to people, if they're talking and like I can relate to something they're saying, but I just want to jump right in and like answer back with my own experience, I've learned I've had a much richer action just listening, and like people feel that receptive energy and you just feel comforting or nicer to be around instead of like interrupting or whatever. This is what eagle kind of shows you, how to be the observer, how to hold space, but yet even though you're high in the sky, you're still very focused on what's going on down on the ground. You're not just airy-fairy. You're just holding space. So eagle comes from the east, the place of the rising sun, of new beginnings. She soars high in the sky, sees the smallest detail with clarity without losing track of the bigger picture. The nests in the high mountains. For eagle, there are no obstacles, only opportunities. She calls you to ascend, to acquire perspective so you can fly wing to wing with great spirit. Have you become trapped in your daily routine and feel you do not know where to go and what to do next? Have you lost your sense of purpose? Eagle invites you to take a deep breath and spread your wings. When was the last time you opened them? Okay, this is in keeping with the energy this week of starting something new, maybe having some obstacles, and what are you going to assign meaning to those obstacles? Are you going to just observe them as an opportunity for greater growth? Eagle reminds you that your spirit was born to soar to the heavens. As you contemplate choices, your choices, like my choices led to this lifestyle, or my choices led to having a job that makes me work on the weekends, but I really want to be able to go do a special course on the weekends. That's what they're talking about. Look at the big picture. How are you creating ease for yourself? So do I want to live in a chicken coop, sheltered from life and counting the regular feedings, or do I want to soar like an eagle? If your answer is the latter, then you must accept Eagle's invitation and embrace the courage that will help you choose freedom. And I can guarantee you, if it's true to you, you will feel ultimately free. Okay? If you're no longer hiding your true self, you know, I could have hid my true self and not been like, you know, into the metaphysical healing arts, and you know, that would have been perfectly fine for some of my very conservative law enforcement coworkers, but you know, I don't care what they think, so I'm free to be me. And now when I'm around people and I'm just being myself, they either accept me or they don't, and if they don't, I don't care. That's the freedom you have. You don't have to pretend to be something you're not. You don't have to not express all of who you are. That's the freedom of Eagle, okay? So then, and that's kind of the energy I'm inviting everybody to have this week when you're moving into something new and you're worried about what other people think. It's really not, it's like, it may feel at the time like a huge concern, but then when you say to yourself, why do I honor what another thinks more than my own thoughts or my own feelings? That's really important. Ask yourself that. That might be the biggest shift. Thinking less about what other people think and assigning authority to their thoughts, and giving more authority to yourself and what you think. Okay, this next one is for hope. Ooh, magic. Yes. Magic is always a lovely addition. This symbol represents the infinite intelligence of Great Spirit that makes up the fundamental fabric of the universe. We experience the evidence of this magic through synchronicity or meaningful coincidence. When I think of magic, it's kind of like the part we didn't plan for, but like the miracle that happens, leaving it up to spirit. You know, if you're hoping for something and you don't see the how, you just put it out there and you let magic happen. So when magic appears, you're invited to see the world through the eyes of wonder and awe, taking on the innocence of a child who knows that all things are possible. Infinite potential exists in the great mind, and you're being invited to call it in and recognize the dance in synchronistic events, signs, symbols, and omens given to you through the oracle of the ordinary world. I see these synchronous events all the time because I'm looking for them now. I'm open to receive those messages now. Like I said, when I walked out my door yesterday and I saw a little lizard, I noticed that. That could be a guidepost from the divine. So I still need to look up lizard. What was he trying to tell me? This is a sign of spirits reminding you that you co-create your world in a sacred partnership. Your part is to dream, to intend, and to watch for signs that show you what next action to take. Right now it appears you are on the right track to make your dreams come true. Great Spirit is listening and acting on your behalf. Pay attention. Magic gives birth to miracles. Woo. Let's talk about miracles. Yeah. You may really want to jump into something new and you don't know how it's going to take place. Let the miracles happen. Okay, I'm going to get us one more drink of water here. And as we're considering that, I'm going to light up the rest of my sage here. And the next card is going to be for Chris. Almost done here with this smudge. Okay. There we go. The spiral. No, it's not necessarily the downward spiral. This is like sacred geometry, okay? Spirals are everywhere. And hurricane, this might be on your mind because I know you're from North Carolina and your people are there. So the spiral. From galaxies in the sky to diminutive shells at the beach, the spiral is found extensively in the natural world. Its shape in the form of a coiled serpent has been used since ancient times as a tool for growth and transformation. The spiral is a guide for entering deep into one's consciousness and the unknown, and then extending far out into the heavens. It is crucial to surrender to this journey until the exhausted paradigm dissolves in the depths of the psyche and its energy is released to give birth to a new reality. I don't know why I'm really like equating this spiral to the hurricane right now. Whatever stress or energy that's around that, it's saying surrender to the journey until the exhausted paradigm dissolves. So you're being invited to renew yourself and shed old skin. You have already done this, so do not keep scraping away at the old, but welcome the soft new skin that is starting to grow. Break the habit of working on your faults all the time and let nature take its course. Know that a new skin feels vulnerable and scary at times. Trust the medicine of the spiral as it guides your journey of renewal. Yeah, that's perfect for this week. Know that new skin feels vulnerable and scary at times. That vulnerable and scary doesn't mean it's bad, it's just new. Something new is happening for you. You're coming into your own, you're shedding old skin, you're starting a new thing, a new skill, growing a new identity. And it may feel weird, it may feel awkward, but it's not bad. It's not a sign like, oh, this isn't for me. Don't let yourself clam up on that. All right, so the next one is for Kim. The Ancient Ones. The Ancient Ones are the shamans of old who defeated death and escaped from the tyranny of time. The Ancient Ones once walked the earth like us in flesh and bone. Now they reside in infinity and can counsel us after we say yes to our calling. They are available to us to help us attain our full realization. So you have this whole council of people, these ancient well ancestors, to call upon in times of need and for wisdom, especially along the path of maybe a new healing path or a path of service. So if it's feeling foreign, And of course, this whole theme this week is something new, going into something foreign, maybe a new student. This is calling upon the ancient masters for their guidance and mentorship. The ancient ones are inviting you to reach to the future to help birth a new destiny for the earth. Go ahead, find out who you're becoming 10,000 years from now. If you accept the invitation, great power and blessings will come your way and allow you to craft a new destiny for yourself. Do not hesitate to bite off more than you can chew and feel uncomfortable, because you have unlimited spiritual resources available right now. That's really important. Unlimited spiritual resources. Call upon these unlimited resources so that you can get through that awkward newness and really feel into holding space for who you're becoming, okay? That was for Kim. Now I have one for Nicole. The rainbow. I'm going to check the comments here. All right. Aw, you guys are sweet. More snafus. Hey, you know what? Snafus really help you get through, like, man, you're going to look back and go, you know what? I got through that crap, and now I know I can get through this. This is easy. So, yes, you're quite welcome, Charlotte and Risa. Hey, Courtney. Yes, you are on the right path, Hope. Yeah, relationship psychic, that's awesome. I'm curious. We should chat more about that. Combining my experience as a therapist, yes, very good. Yes, very powerful. Aw, I know you're worried for your peeps, Chris. Yeah. Oh, you're welcome, Kim. Well, I hope you have good test results, Chris. Okay. For Nicole, the rainbow, hello. Hi, Connie, welcome. Think about the rainbow. What is a rainbow anyway? But all the spectrums of light, right? Kind of like us and all of our energy. We have the ability to be all things. The rainbow symbolizes the 7 steps of a true spiritual path, which manifest as the colors of the 7 chakras. In the Himalayas, the rainbow body is seen as the full realization of our essence. The full spectrum. The rainbow also represents the bridge between the physical and the spiritual world. What have we been talking about? This whole reading is all about really helping you call on some rainbow energy to get you from, as Carolyn Mace would call it, the 3 chakras below, 1, 2, and 3, is the world in front of our eyes. And then the heart, the throat, the third eye, and the crown are all the world behind our eyes, right? Our heart, our throat, all that has to do with what's going on inside. And so the rainbow is that bridge between, maybe you call the rainbow bridge, maybe it's telling you to call on some animal energy, which I always advocate for. But there's that bridge between the world behind our eyes and the world below, or in front of our eyes, out here, right? Because 1, 2, and 3, the root chakra, the sacral chakra, and the third chakra, your solar plexus, your sense of self, that's how you operate with the world. The second chakra is how you operate with another in relationship. And then your root chakra is your family, where you come from, your roots, right? So this is saying combine all you know to be true for you internally, you're inside, with letting everyone in your world know who you are. So the rainbow tells you that the end of the storm is near. Oh, hold on, I missed one. At the end of our lives, we can journey across the rainbow bridge to the highest heavenly realms. When the rainbow appears, it is an affirmation that all is well and that you are in right relationship with Spirit. The rainbow tells you that the end of the storm is near. Persevere and remember that it is darkest just before the dawn. Do not give up hope. Things are about to take a positive turn. Listen for the morning rooster that announces the coming of the dawn, even while the night is still darkest. But do not claim victory yet or let your guard down. I personally think that when you've been through the dark shit, the light feels just so much more exquisite, right? It's the combination of the light and the dark, right? So process each experience of the spectrum, the light and the dark. And it is what it is, right? They're all equally important. That was for Nicole. I'm glad that makes sense for you. Oh, Stephanie, if you're here, I feel that this is very important for you. The mystical shaman. This is the symbol of the myth maker and storyteller who is neither made of nor defined by the story. Instead, he observes it, evolves through it, and perceives all aspects of it. So we were talking about being in that place of observation, right? Don't assign any meaning to it. Just say, where am I in this story? In so doing, the mystical shaman represents the ability to dream a new story, a new myth into being. Again, everything we've been talking about this week. You get to be something new. He dances between worlds, wearing the metaphysical and the physical, wearing the cloak of the world loosely around his shoulders, and sings the world into being. He reminds us to be in the world and travel through it, but not to be defined by it and become too attached to the experience. So don't do a lot of meaning making about what's happening to you. Just observe, oh, this is happening. Why is this happening? Is it because of choices I've made or boundaries I need to put up? This is the symbol of true alchemy. Alchemy, if you aren't in the very literal sense, is, I believe it's mixing iron with like another metal and it turns into gold. I'm going to have to look that up. But it's literally combining a chemical reaction, alchemical. It's the combination of this combined with that turns into this. Pure gold, right? Okay, this is the symbol of true alchemy. For all elements of life have a spiritual aspect and a material one. This is totally what this whole week is about. What your spiritual aspects of your life and a physical aspect in the material world. When we remember this, all manner of miracles and manifestations are possible. When the mystical shaman appears, you're invited to consider the ability to live without attachment. You are called to create and dream your life, to act on inspiration and divine impulse without fixating on a known story of success or achievement. Or failure. If you have a story about what you haven't done or haven't accomplished or aren't good at or whatever, let it go. You don't have to attach yourself to that story. Can you impartially observe the stories you tell yourself and others? I'm defeated. Life is over as I know it. Those sort of stories. You get to choose a new story. You get to decide, I'm someone who thinks positively, or I'm someone who XYZ, whereas you may have never saw that for yourself before. You do not have to live in a story that has roots in the past. What if there was no need to explain you to anyone, not even to yourself. Remember when I was saying setting up boundaries? Sometimes you could say no and not explain why, because sometimes in the explaining yourself, that gives people the belief that maybe you could be coerced or influenced otherwise. So who are you going to believe? When someone was like, no, I can't go because I had this, that, and the other, and blah, blah, blah. Or I couldn't make it, sorry. There's a difference, very clear boundary of I don't have to explain myself, but not in a confrontational way, just I couldn't make it. The way to your most extraordinary life is to become a blank slate and allow the form of your dreams and desires to show up as it is, as it will. This is a sign of manifesting a life beyond your wildest dreams. It's saying if things feel like total crap or it's a mess, you can move on. You don't even need to try to clean it up. Just move on. Move into the new thing. Move into the new way. That was for Stephanie. So that concludes this week's card reading. And I'm so glad you guys joined us. Me. And I hope you guys join me next week. I'm going to be starting up my interview series on my Facebook business page, all about, it's called Discovering the Empowered Self. And it's about my personal journey from, healing journey from recovering from early childhood trauma. It's designed for adults who had unresolved early childhood trauma, and it's to bring awareness on the effects of unresolved early childhood trauma and to share with different speakers over the course of, like, I think it's 7-8 weeks, the different healing modalities you can use to heal yourself, because things like early childhood trauma and relational trauma are complex things and may require complex healing, holistic healing. So I hope you join me. It's going to be on my Facebook business page. My first guest speakers are members of this group, Terry and Linda Nichols. I'm super excited to share what we had to talk about, because they have an amazing process for helping you interrupt your traumatic memories, and I'm really, really excited to be able to share some of this knowledge with you guys. In the meantime, this week's probably going to be a doozy, but we got this. We've got this group. We've got our own personal grounding exercises. Call upon your spirit guides. There's so much there to support you. Just know that everything is there for you. Life is not happening to you, it's happening for you. So, all right, guys. Thanks for being with me. Bye for now.